The art district 798 has become the hotspot in Beijing, the kind of place that you name drop because it makes you cool by association. Oh, the other day when I was at 798, and suddenly you're chic and cosmopolitan. I haven't been there since 2005, so depending on how you look at it, I'm either really ahead of or really behind the times. How has what used to be an underground artist community become the most buzzed about place in Beijing? Beijingers are flocking to the art district like kids to an ice cream truck on a hot summer day. 798 is clearly filling some kind of need for them. But what? Just like Greenwich Village or Soho, a huge part of 798's appeal today is its history. Centered in a former military factory district, 798 bears the marks of the Cultural Revolution, with red Maoist slogans slashing across the eaves of the galleries. The industrial history contrasts with the avant-garde art, a blend of old and new, a contradiction much like Beijing itself. When we think of the 1980s, we think of hair scrunchies, neon leggings, and off-the-shoulder t-shirts. But for the Chinese, the 1980s marked the point when Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms made their lives take turns for the better. However, they weren't so hot for state-owned enterprises like the factories that no longer got government support. When the district was originally built in the 1950s by the East Germans and the Chinese, it was known as Joint Factory 718. Hailed as a workers' paradise, the factory gave its workers great benefits, including fully furnished rooms for less than 1/30th of their income. The last time I paid that little for rent, I was 5, and my income was whatever the tooth fairy left me. Anyway, Joint Factory 718 was later split into subunits, the largest being 798. Ironically, none of the subunits, 798 included, survived the economic reforms that invigorated China in so many other areas. In 1995, Beijing's Central Academy of Fine Arts was looking for a cheap place to rent space, stumbled upon the defunct district, and loved the large indoor workspaces with northern-facing windows that let in as much natural light as possible, while also casting the fewest shadows. Time Zone 8, a bookstore and publishing office, became the first foreign-owned 798 business when it moved into an old factory canteen in 2001. Time Zone 8 produces so much information about the art and artists of 798 that it doesn't just have its metaphorical finger on the pulse of 798, but in a way has actually become that pulse. There's no better place to find out what draws people to 798. Right when they walk in the door, you know why they've come. Chinese patrons head straight to the foreign books, while foreigners peruse the Chinese books. Proprietor Robert Burnell.
This is China today. People are interested in what their contemporaries in another country are thinking, what they're doing, what they look like. When we first moved in, it was primarily artists, and the scene was underground.
But now, there's an emerging creative class in Beijing, made up of 20-somethings who work in the advertising and design industries, or for multinational corporations, who want something extra in their lives. They come here not to buy art, but to engage with art. As a creative crucible, 798 doesn't just redefine Beijing, but also helps the people that come here to redefine themselves.
These are non-professionals, they're not artists, but they are the kind of the future of China. If you believe that the creative industry can take China on a path away from just manufacturing widgets and matchboxes and things like that. I think everyone is searching for their identity, whether they're artists or, because, as a philosopher once said, the question is not who am I, but who am we, because over the course of our lives we've been many, many different things. And I think the Chinese, especially with all of the changes going on around them, are asking who am we, and I think in 798 they can find a lot of answers. They find a lot of very positive and reinforcing things here.
I'm no different, I guess. One Chinese artist I've heard a lot about is Qiu Zhijie, who explores how China has changed over the last 30 years, and how difficult it's been for people as China's values have changed. He is saying everything about Beijing that I feel, and I don't even know how to express it, that it's between past and present and east and west and struggling to find its own identity. Imagine having a picture of yourself and then just writing no on it or not. I think that says a lot when you're trying to figure out who you are and you're exploring your identity and you just say no. This is a lot. Even though the topics are weighty, just knowing that other people grapple with these issues is reassuring. I'm already getting a better sense for why people come here. It's reaffirming. Robert tells me about two artists, Peng Yu and Sun Yuan, who put up an exhibition called Freedom. The exhibit seems peaceful and idyllic. Its sign featuring a bridge spanning a placid stream, framed by weeping willows. But the word freedom is written backwards, in a mirror image, as if to say freedom is a reflection. But a reflection of what? The park pictured is just off to the side of Tiananmen Square.
What Peng Yu and Sun Yuan have done with their installation is really force us to think that freedom means different things to different people. There's no one definition of freedom out there. And freedom, if left unchecked, is a very, very violent and dangerous and completely uncontrollable force.
This is really wild. When it hits the wall, the whole wall shakes.
It's really quite horrifying, and when you're looking through the bulletproof windows, the force, the power of the hose it takes your breath away. So it's a very stunning, I think one of the best shows of the year.
Wow. I'm not usually like one for modern or like too interpretive kind of art, but I just think that this is amazing because it really shows like the force and the power and like the unpredictability. Wow. Nowhere is China's rapid change more evident than in a place like 798, where the juxtaposition of postmodern art with relics from the Cultural Revolution remind us how far China has come in such a short period of time. China is one of the world's oldest civilizations, but also one of the youngest. In a way, 798 represents a hidden side of Beijing. People don't associate Beijing with a contemporary and cutting edge, mostly because they don't know about places like 798. I want to talk to someone with some perspective on the whole 798 scene. Wen Jingli, the manager of the first coffee shop in 798, saw 798's potential almost before anyone else. She recognized that 798 wouldn't just be a place where rich collectors would come to buy art, but that the district would transcend art, attracting all kinds of people as a place to hang out, to experience something different. A place where they could find color and texture to add to their lives. 那真的能代表北京呢？什么样的人都有。
对，它肯定能代表北京，因为呢，那个798就一家，就是这么一个，不可能有人再去那个复制它，我估计也复制不下。因为现在不是好多那个，你看，上海它也想做这种艺术区什么的，还有好多各个地儿，它都在这个那个仿制这个798这个模式来走，但是呢，798就此一家，它有它自己的独特的。
I'm looking at the artwork in the galleries and the knickknacks in the shops, but I'm not really seeing them. I'm thinking about freedom, identity, the intersection of past, present, and future. 798 is definitely the kind of place you come to think deep thoughts. It really does represent Beijing. Here, it's not just about where people have been, but where they're going. It's about trying to connect with where the country's been, while also figuring out where it's headed. Even when I don't realize it, I'm trying to figure out who I am and how I relate to the people and places around me. Some people think of China as the Far East, different from the West in every way. In my mind, there's nothing far about it. It's become my home. In fact, the longer I live here, the more muddled the concepts of Eastern and Western become, especially as I try to break out of living a so-called Western lifestyle here. What makes it Western if it's so easy to do in the so-called East? There's a reason it's called getting lost in contemplation. Consumed by your thoughts, you lose sight of what's around you, until all of a sudden you look up and everything is so clear, it's disorienting. And I realize 798 is the perfect likeness of Beijing. And that's the problem. Just like 798, Beijing is one of a kind, which means living in Beijing, I haven't really experienced China. It's like DC. Could you really say that DC is representative of the entire US? No offense to all the Washingtonians out there, but that's kind of a scary thought. Ironic, isn't it? The political capital, where all our representatives convene, isn't exactly representative of our nation. Likewise with Beijing. So, I think I'm going to leave Beijing. When I get together with friends for drinks that night, I tell them a little bit about what I've done so far. I've explored the back alleys of Beijing.
第一次骑你呢？你可以吗 ？No, I won't stop. Look at you, that's
Gone behind the scenes of the Beijing
穿
opera.
上以后一种感觉是吧？又戴上又画上。其实演员很受罪的，但是我们给观众留下的是非常美好的一种形象，苦了自己，甜了别人。
Discovered a new side to the Great Wall.
It's so pretty that it's almost depressing because I don't actually live here. I'm just visiting.
Woken up at dawn to practice Tai Chi in the park. Scored wedding presents for my friends.
A little bit nicer than my earrings. Just a little bit.
It looks like a very antique, you know.
Delicate, yeah. This one also, different.
Learned the art of the tea ceremony. Well, I didn't say mastered. And contemplated 798. But this past week is about more than what I just did. It's about what I discovered by asking questions.
There's a lot of political figures and then athletes and celebrities. I wonder what it is about this place. Why here? Why not another place? What makes this place so special?
By getting to know real Beijingers, I got to see the city through their eyes. And it was great. But it wasn't enough. There's a lot more I need to do, a lot more I need to see. I'm a little bit sad to leave my friends behind, and a little bit scared. It's unsettling, leaving behind the familiar. And when did Beijing become the familiar anyway? Although the capital can tell me a lot about the country, it can't tell me everything. So I've committed to this, to 体验中国, or to learn about China from experience, no matter where it takes me or what happens once I get there. How well do I really know China? I'm about to find out.